Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Rudy coming at you with a new video. If you didn't already know or assume, this is going to be the last video in the Versatility series for the Stumpjumper Evo 2022. We are doing the 64-degree head-tube angle coming down from we're doing 65-degree head-tube angle coming down from 65.5. So just my initial impressions. Before I get into that, guys, don't forget I'm at 500 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button, get me to 1,000 so we can get this channel monetized. I'm on a roll, guys. I'm at like 650. This Versatility series has really helped grow my channel, and I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. So if you're out there and you're watching this video, you will get some kind of entertainment value out of it, and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Also, I'm not in a hurry to take the Mullet link off. So what I have left on this bike is to do the full review in 29er, which means I have to put the link for the 29 back on the bike, put the 29 wheel back on the bike, go to 63 and 63.5, and I'm just not in a hurry to do that. So I will do it eventually, but if you're in a hurry to see those videos, do me a favor. I need 5 people to comment down below for me to make the 63 and 63.5 head tube angle on the full 29er videos. I will do that. I'm just not in a hurry. Now, with that being said, guys, my initial impressions on this bike at 65 degrees is really good. You know, it's a lot like 64 because, you know, you're putting the bike back in that lower position, so the bottom bracket drops. The cockpit kind of stretches out just a little bit, and you feel more centered in the bike. I don't think, in my initial impressions, okay, when coming up just now, I really don't feel like it's less efficient. I think it might be less efficient on the rider, just because it does feel like you're using a little bit more of the suspension, but I've noticed in some of the techier areas, I got more grip. So take it for what it's worth. 65 versus 65.5, with the characteristics and the ability that you get on the downhills, I think that again outweighs being in that higher head tube angle. So also it makes the bike a little bit longer. I did notice that in some situations that the bike just got you know, it's a little bit longer, so you just have to plan a little bit more, you know, kind of cut out whenever you're coming into those switchbacks. Also notice that I'm able to, on those switchbacks, and maybe you come up to like a steeper ledge or something like that, just to kind of put a little bit of power down and kind of pop that front wheel up and move it a little bit easier. At the 65.5 degree head tube angle, you could do that. It just took a little bit more effort, as to where I think with the seat and being a little bit stretched out, it's easier to kind of just rock your weight back and then pick up that front end and move it over. I mean, I kind of dig that characteristic whenever it comes to climbing. Also, I do want to mention that I did take a different route up here, and in doing so, I think that I came up with some bad habits, because basically through this entire series, I've done the same trail up and basically the same trails down, and like I've gotten really good at knowing where I needed to pedal and then half crank and such, you know what I mean, just kind of make these little maneuvers. And coming up this way, I definitely like scuffed my pedals on the bottom of rocks in a couple of places, just powering up, doing power moves, you know. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because I think it's just something good to note to you guys, because, you know, that bottom bracket drops. So if you're running 170 or 175 mil cranks, man, that's gonna be tough. Get yourself a pair of 165s. I tell you, you'll be happy with it. But with that being said, guys, I mean, the bike climbs efficiently. I just think that it might not be as efficient on the rider. It puts you in a really good position. I don't feel like it took that much more energy to get here. Same summit, just a different route that I took. A little bit flat, techier. There's more techie spots, but it's a gradual climb, as to where the climb that I usually do is like, you know, switchback after switchback, and then tech spot, then switchback, tech spot, and then switchback, tech spot, then techie switch. I mean, it's pretty techie, like after another and after another. It's steeper tech, as to where this just has like punchier tech climbs, and I think that might allude to where me catching from the pedals. Anyways, guys, probably gonna do 2 videos out of this, so if you recognize this shirt, you will know why. Because full disclosure, I did ride this bike a couple days ago in 65.5 in a section that I don't normally ride, and I got a top 9, and I didn't even try. I didn't even know I was on that section. So I'm kind of stoked to take this head tube angle down that section and see if I can get a personal best, get a little bit better. Did a little bit of stretching. Oh yeah, got the glasses on, bike's all ready. I dropped all my O-rings to see where, just out of curiosity, how much travel I use at the end. But this is it. This is me going for a PR or a possible KOM. Boy, that's a lot of sun. That was sunset. This is Wild Turkey, and I think this is where I could make up a little bit of time pedaling through this stuff, pumping and trying to carry some speed. Pace myself a little bit. Ah, that was a terrible corner. This is where the start of the black happens. Such a bad line. Oh, that corner happened pretty good. Damn it, lost the pedal. Not doing so good, guys. Little slippery sand right there. Oh, there's just no good way around that corner, but that was pretty decent. Ooh, that was almost bad. Really windy right here. I'm exposed and open. No tree coverage. So hard to keep some flow through there. There too. Trail's not over yet. It's not over until I basically get to my truck. So if you guys are watching this far, really sandy, easy to wash out there, gotta keep it straight. Oh shit, that was terrible. Run it. Push it. Hey guys, thanks, by myself. Right behind you. Taking the outside. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right, back at home. Pretty tired. It was a bit of a day out there riding and trying to get some footage and things like that. But I got two videos to cap off here. First off, 65 degrees on the head tube angle. It's really good. And on the downhill, especially if you got, I don't know if you want to call them milder blacks, like this is really good. Okay. Sorry, trying to compartmentalize like everything. Downhill, when going downhill on this bike at 65 degrees, it's actually still really lively, and it feels like the best combination between, like, it's not quite enduro suspension soft, but it's not like trail stiff. It's like the best of both worlds. Like whenever you go to to pump into rollers, like you definitely feel like the suspension sinking down more into that roller, but coming back up, it just feels like it propels you forward better than whenever you're in like 65.5. When you're in 65.5, it just feels like it's like, whoo, like you push down into it and it just like pops you back up, but you don't really get like the propel, the feeling of it propelling you forward. As to where at 65, it does feel like when you pump into that roller, like it's squatting into the bike and you're coming up, and it's just feels like it sits into that travel a little bit more, and it's easier to time that pump. Same thing with like going over like techie spots and like maneuvering the bike and popping it and pulling it up and over things. And you'll see that in the video that I'm going to put up on the downhill. I went down a pretty flow tech black trail. It's definitely got some parts where it's tough to keep your momentum, but this bike at 65 actually does it really well, and it's really responsive when it comes to doing those maneuvers. Now at 64 degrees flat, that I feel like is like the closest to enduro suspension this bike feels, to where with that slacker head tube angle, instead of like pushing down and muscling up over an obstacle with the slacker head tube angle, it just like goes over it without having to like pump and pop over it. So I feel like that's a good way of explaining the characteristic difference between like 64 and 65. But from 65.5 to 65, the bike is just as lively as it is in 60. I really would like to hit a good jump trail with this bike in 65. I think that would be really good. Like even like a black or a double black jump trail. I think that 65 would handle it really good and just be super poppy. I mean, 64 is really good. It just, I don't feel like you would get as much pop. But whenever you decided to go like at a bike park and you're doing blacks, like that's where you're gonna want the 64, you know, when things are steeper. But at 65, at, you know, being a milder trail that's not as steep, but still techy, like 65 handles it really well, and the suspension just feels nice and plush, and it's a, you know, I don't know. I keep going back and forth between what my favorite head tube angles are and what I like them in Mullet versus 29er. And I think I'm just gonna have to have a big long discussion or a podcast type deal, because you know, there's just so much to answer for on this bike. Also cornering whenever the bike's just a little bit longer and the suspension, you just sit into it. I mentioned that in the beginning, like that's something to be noted for. Overall 65 really is pretty good. I would like to eventually, and you guys will have to let me know, try a 170. And you know, they say that whenever you go up 10 mils, it slackens the bike out by excuse me, it slackens the bike out by 5 degrees. So if I'm where I'm at now at 65.5, if I could raise it up to 170, leave it in this spot, but be at 64 degrees on the head tube angle, that might be pretty sweet, especially for, you know, that might be a better yet even combination between enduro and trail. But it's really hard to categorize this bike, because I feel like this bike could really handle like 90% of enduro stuff. Maybe not as fast as some of the bigger travel bikes, but I still think this bike could do it. I mean, it's got the length, it's got the suspension platform. That's the only thing, is I think that like on my Norco, for example, and I know it's hard to compare the linkages together in the rear, but the rear is definitely like more glued to the ground than this is. And I think that's like with enduro bikes in general. I think that they're made to be more plush, to where that suspension pushes to the ground, as to where the rear end of this one just feels a little bit more chattery, a little bit more bouncy, and wanting to like leave the ground, which is a good characteristic of the bike if that's something you're looking for. But if you're looking for a ground hugging enduro bike, like you're definitely going to have to, and you want this bike to be like your one quiver bike, you know, you're definitely gonna have to get used to, you know, that 63, 63.5, maybe 64, depending on how gnarly your enduro race setting is. I don't know, but I have no doubts that this bike will do it. I really don't. It's just the suspension in the rear, I think, is the only somewhat of a holdup. But you know, that could just be me, the way that I have it set up, a little bit more fine tuning, maybe changing out the volume reducer in the back. I don't know, but all in all, This bike has been amazing. It's been a lot of fun, although work, trying to get all these videos together. So right now I just want to thank you guys, because with this series I've gotten the most subscribers out of this series on my YouTube channel. So thanks guys for subscribing. Still trying to, you know, get up to that 1,000 subscribers, so don't forget to subscribe, you know, hit the thumbs up, comment down below. And thanks guys, thanks for watching. I hope you dig the video. Until next time, peace out. Go ride your bike.